Good stuff. All right, Madelaine and I are excited for this cosmic chat because we have got some significant goodness to share with everyone. Big time things happening. Okay. And I do believe, let me make sure we're live. Let's see. Yes, we are. We are live. I gotta say it the way Madelaine likes me to say it. Okay, so obviously Amalia and Natalio with Karmic Kindness, joined by with, I don't know, my brain just like had a moment. Madelaine Parker, she's here.
Hola.
And we are talking about the Virgo full moon eclipse. Holy moly, we have some significant energy to talk about. Madelaine's going to do a deep dive. I'm going to touch in on a few pieces of it, particularly the planetary aspects to the moon for this moon cycle. I was doing some research on this, and it's one of these, well, all the eclipses are such, like they portend so much change, shifts that are happening. And this one will highlight the release of perfectionism and overthinking and the need to control outcomes while encouraging trust and surrender and that spiritual connection. So we've got that Virgo energy of like perfectionism, overthinking, and control. And then we have the Pisces energy because the sun is in Pisces, encouraging trust, surrender, and that spiritual connection. Now, two things I think that are important to note out of the gate. The first, Venus is in retrograde. So the energy that we're experiencing now as a collective is going to be one that's very reflective on what do you value? How do you, find this place within you where you can take that, your desire, romance, resources, those areas of your life, and be able to reevaluate what is actually important to you. And Venus retrograde happened in March 2nd to April 15th in 2017. So, as Pam Gregory always says, there's an echo of what is happening now. Like something that happened then, there's a bit of an echo of that energy. So if you want to have a little bit of a sneak peek into what you might be experiencing, that's a great place of reflection. And Venus is retrograde until April 12th. So, and has been in retrograde motion since the beginning of March 1st. So we have this energy is very much a part of the story. Then we also have Mercury going retrograde the day or two, depending on where you live, after this eclipse. So even though it's not happening the day of the eclipse, it's happening within that window. So that's another area to really be considerate of. Most of us know the Mercury retrograde energy, travel issues, tech issues, communication breakdowns. So just be aware of those things. Give yourself extra time for travel. Be aware of the thoughts you're thinking, the words you're using to express yourself. Eclipse times are a really beautiful time of deep release and healing. So you may notice some unexpected things happening within your Virgo and Pisces houses. And if you don't know where that is, when Madelaine goes over all 12 houses, she's going to be sharing with everyone, okay, wherever your sun, your moon, and your rising sign are, listen in. That's going to give you an idea of where your Virgo Pisces houses are. She'll be literally telling you if you are, I'm a Scorpio ascendant. She's going to say this eclipse is falling in your whatever houses. I can't think that quickly to figure it out. So there's, we're going to be giving you so much really valuable information today that's going to help you through this. So, pay attention to these little nuggets. Really quickly, I love to share well, let me give you the 411 on when this is happening. So if you live on the East Coast of the United States, this is happening on March 14th at 2:55 a.m. If you live on the West Coast, like Madelaine, or in the Western Pacific time zone, it's happening at 11:55 p.m. on the 13th. So just a slight differential on the dates there. And it's happening at 23 degrees, 56 minutes. So let me show you really quickly the impact chart. So for those who have, hold on one second, let me get this going. You know, I love sharing this because you can see exactly where. Okay, hold on. I've got it on our YouTube instead of on the chart. All right, here we go. Getting all the tech stuff sorted. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I guess all the mutables are going to get squared by this eclipse. So
Yes, it's going to be, as you can see right here, we've got Sag square, Pisces opposition, Gemini square. So if you've got any points between like 18 and 28 degrees of any of those signs, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini, you're going to be feeling this likely intensely. There will be things in your life that are going to be highlighted in a way that might feel a little uncomfortable, but really moving you towards your aligned destiny, towards your path that's truly for you. So take a peek at your chart. I have, you can get a chart on my website. You can get a chart on a number of other free websites and just kind of be able to follow along with Madelaine and I as we're sharing what's going on here in the cosmos that's affecting all of us. So, all right, let me just jump in very, very quickly. Virgo is connected to the nervous system and the digestive system. Pancreas is also included in that. Your eyes and ears, sensory organs are also part of the Virgo vibe. So take extra care of that. Maybe, Virgo has a lot to do with your health, your wellness, your day-to-day habits and work. But when you think about what are you putting into your body, how are you starting your day, really be aware of that. This might be a time for fine-tuning and refining. As with every full moon, the moon and the sun are opposing each other in the sky. We've got the moon in Virgo, the sun in Pisces. So we've got this very like analytical, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, this mental kind of energy. And then you have Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. So it's more etheric and dreamy and imaginative. And if you think about when you put those two together, you can take your dreams and put them into a form that you're able to share, you're able to communicate. But remember, Mercury's in retrograde, so this is more of an inner process than an outer one right now. We've got the moon sextile Mars. I love this because Mars gives you that feeling of courage and passion. And so being able to access that is really supportive in handling any challenge or obstacle that might come up and giving you that awareness of what's happening and giving you a little bit of courage to maybe step outside your comfort zone. The moon is opposing Saturn. So really, really supportive energy in terms of getting organized, balancing work and imagination or work and rest. Pay attention to the houses that Virgo and Pisces are in that Madelaine is going to be sharing, because that's going to be a highlight for you as far as like creating a disciplined practice around those, a structure. We also have the moon opposing Neptune. So this is giving you an opportunity to surrender control and let go of fears, which sounds easy, but in practice, we all know is not so easy. But we're being guided to the possibility of a deep transition and release, allowing shifts within your wellness and work, because we're talking about Virgo and Pisces. Just two more quick aspects I want to mention. This is another really beautiful one, I feel like. Anyway, I'll be curious what Madelaine says about the trine, the moon trine Pluto, supporting overcoming challenges leading to transformation, because Pluto was all about transformation. So I love that this is a trine aspect. It seems like it's very supportive. It's going to take that like disciplined analytical Virgo energy and support the energy of Pluto, leading us into a transformation and rebirth. And then final thing is we've got the moon opposing the north node, conjunct the south node. We've got this eclipse vibe going on here. This is pretty much it. Releasing the illusions of what we have thought, what we have experienced up until this point, and make way for new beginnings. So it's a huge, huge eclipse. I texted Madelaine earlier and I was like, got a lot to talk about today. This might be one of our, I don't know if it'll be one of our
longer ones,
but it might be, because there's, this is just, a little bit of what is happening. And I know Madelaine's going to expand even more. Just huge, huge. And then one final thing, and then I'm going to hand the mic over to Madelaine. The flower. Holy moly, this
Oh, you
flower.
pulled a flower card already? Oh, I'm excited.
For the overarching theme for this Virgo full moon eclipse. So I'm part of this, it's called a flower evolution program with LOTUSWEI. Everyone who watches us regularly knows that I love LOTUSWEI. It's such a huge part of my work and my life. And I recommend the products to all my clients. And whether you purchase products from them or you just take a screenshot of the flower, what's fascinating to me is the flower that I'm working with this month is the flower for everyone this month. And I find that fascinating because this flower, I actually resisted when I read what it was for, what it would alchemize and focus on in your life. I was like, oh, I don't know if I am interested in this flower this month. I think I might just push pause and work with a different flower. And then I got an email with a little more information about the flower from Katie Hess, the founder. And then I realized, oh, dang, I actually really need this, even though I don't want it. So this is the flower. It is the Red
Wow, we've
Penstemon.
never seen that one ever.
It is, to me, like it's very similar to the wild snapdragon, which was our flower for the last full moon, I do believe. I'll double check, but I'm almost positive. And it's very similar. It's basically just like the wild snapdragon, except it's red instead of yellow. And what is fascinating about this is like, so Madelaine, when you look at this, what comes to like your mind and body when you look at that?
Well, the first thing that comes to me is just movement. Like it's
Uh-huh.
just things are starting to move forward here. Like yeah, that
Yeah.
fire, it's motivated, things are changing, shifting. There's a wind
Okay. I
blowing.
love this. Yeah, I love this. So, and I love that you're wearing red today too, which is
Oh,
kind of
that's
fun. Uh-huh. So
synchronous.
this flower grows in temperatures of over 100 degrees. So it's extremely resilient and extreme. It's really doesn't mind the heat. Okay. When we think of anger, we tend to think of we get hot under the collar, that saying, we have all this heat that builds up inside of us. And we all, have had some experience with anger that is not so positive, let's just say. Feels rather challenging. So this flower allows you to have a different relationship with anger, which means anger is going to come to the surface, which is why I was like, not super interested in this. Now, just because the anger comes to the surface, it's a great opportunity to navigate those feelings differently. Think of it as an alchemization, a purification, anger purifying your body instead of you holding it in or letting it explode out. It's like recognizing it's there for a purpose. So this flower will also clarify things within your life, any circumstances or situations you're dealing with. It will clarify relationships, which is another theme of this moon. It will clarify your mind. Hello, Mercury and Virgo. Ourselves. We've got this eclipse energy where we're all shifting and changing in some way, and our bodies. Again, it's like when I was reading about the energy of this moon and then this flower came out, I'm like, wow, this is so lined up with what we're all experiencing. So pay attention to any subtle irritation, just even the smallest little thing, because you don't need to have a full-blown like kind of anger attack to be able to reap the benefit of this. It's just to pay attention to how those little irritations can affect us. Like, how do we feel it in our bodies? How can we utilize that? Similar to what Madelaine and I were talking about earlier about love, kind of these different forms of, and this is what Madelaine and I were talking about before we went live, bringing in these different parts of these different emotions and parts of ourselves, all of it being part of ourselves, and utilizing them for our growth and transformation in a really positively impactful way. This also allows you to cut through bad habits. So we're talking about Virgo, sixth house, wellness, day to day. What are those bad habits you have? Like, maybe instead of getting up and having a cup of coffee, you get up and you have a nice cup of warm lemon ginger water, if that's something that your particular body type tolerates or is supportive for you, things like that. If anyone is interested in working with this flower specifically, it's only in part of the flower evolution program. However, there is an elixir that would be super supportive right now, and that's called Truth Teller. Truth Teller. It's actually quite lovely. You can use it in drop form or the spray. The spray is
You
just
can sneak it in your man's drink.
I mean, it's not like a
But
drug, so it's not like a negative thing. I mean, it's made with honey based. It's like a little sweetener, and that's funny. I might do that when I
yeah, just see what happens. See what they start telling.
put a little in his and see what happens. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell him first, but anyway. But yeah, so this, Truth Teller will be really supportive in allowing you to alchemize the anger in a healthy way, and it also allows for this, you know, uh, fearless expression, but not in a way that is harmful. It's a very like protective of yourself and the other, but being really fierce with your feelings and honoring and owning them for yourself. So I'm just really excited about this flower. Now I'm wrapping my head around working with it in a way that that doesn't feel quite as daunting, but also aware of the potential pitfalls that may arise from a flower that is really encouraging you to work with your anger. So,
Yeah. Anger, unexpressed anger gives you cancer.
makes you sick. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And there's, I don't know if you're ready for me to talk,
Yeah,
but
yeah, go. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
well, so this eclipse is a lunar eclipse. So when it's a lunar eclipse, we're shifting internally. We're shifting
Mhm.
emotionally. And like you mentioned, Venus is retrograde, Mercury's about to go into retrograde. So yeah, we're making an internal shift that then plays out externally. We then shift something in our life because of a shift within. And so these eclipses really show where you are in your soul growth or where you are in your evolution because it like that card was showing up, your anger can come up, which is healthy to have anger. It's just where are you? Are you reactive or can you be constructive with it? Can you funnel it and can you bring awareness? Because this eclipse you can either go back into shadow version of yourself or be a triggered reactive, which happens, but we're trying to grow above that. So you can be conscious of this during this eclipse. And if you're seeing this, it'll help to take that and not be triggered and to be more aware. And I'll go through it all the 12 signs, how to be the more higher aware response in this shift, these major shifts that are about to happen,
Uh-huh. Oh
which
yeah, girl.
that card was very indicative of.
Yes. I know. I was like, wow. And I don't think that's ever happened before in all these months that we've been doing these cosmic chats and the flower support, where the flower that I'm currently working with is the flower that is showing up for everyone.
Yep.
That to me just really shows how strong this energy is for
And how
everyone.
cosmic we all are together, like how all these energies are shifting us all together.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, definitely.
that's the wonderful thing about astrology is we're all in this together.
We are.
That actually brings us closer and pulls people together more, like knowing that we're all in this together. We're on this planet, at the same time. So as whoever's here with us, basically. So it's
Yeah.
like, to see it as we're all together is the energy of astrology. It's the 11th house. So
Well,
anyway,
you want to share the chart with us,
sure.
Madelaine, and give us
Sure.
your
Yeah, so this eclipse, this is a set of series of eclipses, and if you want to go back and really understand where this eclipse is taking you in this round, as it were, go back to 2007. So I have 2007 up. So 2007, you're going to see a south node full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo in March, and it also happened in September. There was two that there, I put two of them up, or is that two? Yeah, 2000. So where there was two, and I wanted to see where Saturn was because Saturn is in on this one. But the most interesting thing about this original eclipse is it was right near Uranus, and this eclipse is trining and sextiling Uranus, which is a really wonderful thing, which I'm going to get to in a minute. But I was just seeing that. So this eclipse that happened 2007 when Uranus is in the picture, it's a sudden shift, sudden change, sudden whoa. And that was literally not this March one, but the second eclipse, this one was literally the eclipse that I asked my husband and I to separate, move out. That's how it was. So if you have the South Node on the full moon, there's a culmination. There's something emotional we just can't do anymore. We've achieved an end. We've gotten to the end of the rainbow on this, or we've at the end of this whole journey, and you gotta be done. You're done. It's over. Something is over in our lives. So this eclipse on the South Node, we release something so that we can go forward. It's like dropping a weight so you can fly. You know, it's
Mhm.
and when you mentioned early on about what do we really want to bring with us, what's working in our lives, what's not working in our lives, we leave it. You know, there's something that's not working in our lives that we may have been working hard on, because Virgo's a hardworking energy. So we may have been trying to make a career for ourselves this way, or we've been trying to do something, and it's not quite in alignment. Obviously, eclipses take us more to what our incarnated purpose is for, what we're really here for. And we're evolving in these eclipses more towards our true destiny. And we're letting go of illusional things that were not our true, or a part of our incarnated purpose, right? And but this is an emotional thing. We're done with something. We're giving up. We can't do it anymore. The fire for it isn't there anymore. It doesn't fulfill us. And also there's going to be in alignment with this eclipse some sort of spiritual evolution in our soul that makes this shift in us, that makes it no longer worthy or worthwhile our effort, our constant, day-to-day routine or effort at something. So in other words, it's kind of like we discover that it isn't in alignment with the divine will of our life, and it isn't fulfilling us. So we suddenly become very aware of an emptiness around this thing. I like, for instance, my marriage. It wasn't going to fulfill me. It came to that point where I could see there was no future anymore. So that's where we are. We're going to go through all the 12 houses. But at the same time, also at that time, 2007, I started doing tarot reading because I was going through that trauma, basically. So I started really going forward towards my spiritual destiny to explore. And one of the wonderful things about this eclipse, it's like this is an eclipse where we align with so basically we're releasing what isn't doing good for our life, or even if we're not really doing good in service. So in other words, if we're not, like, whatever I was doing before then, I was doing other things in other careers. I was always seeking some sort of a career, but it wasn't the career that I would do good in the world with, as it were, or it wouldn't be my highest service.
Mhm.
So you're shedding skins until you find the thing that puts you in your highest path of service, which is divine, our divine will, the divine will of our incarnation. So yeah, so on this eclipse, let me get to this eclipse now. Let's get to this one, and I'll pop these guys out. Um, so so in this eclipse, again, there's a releasing of a lot of it is our perceptions too, because once we shift the perception and we see something, that's when we can make a shift, because you have something that you see that you want more of, and we're starting to get a taste of our new cycles here, of this whole new earth, the whole new earth that's about to come in, the whole new cycle that we're all about to start in Aries season, when all these planets are going to shift into Aries. So there's something that we see right now in clarity that we're giving up on, that we're dropping away, that isn't doing good for our life, basically. I mean, that's a really simple way to look at it, but it's basically we're evolving spiritually in this eclipse. So, and by the way, people that are squared on this eclipse, it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder for the squares because it's forced release. A lot
Mhm.
of times when you have a square, it's not a choice. So, and most eclipses are not, they're not choices flat across the board. They're usually not.
Mhm.
But you know, the loss is going to be something that you might be more attached to, and it creates an ego resistance around when it's a square. So the more you let things go right now, the more you just don't fight it, the more you just anything that's coming out and going away out of our life right now is supposed to. Anything that's coming in, welcome it. It's the new, it's part of the new life that we're having. And Saturn is in on this, which means it's going to last a long 30-year cycle here. Um, you know, this is serious, kind of new. It's aligning us with something that we can really put our teeth in, that we can be really serious, we can work really hard on, and it's a new direction for us that's in alignment and brings hard work. But see, here's the thing: is it's because of the Pisces. You see, this is my favorite eclipse line, even though it was hard for me, even though it's really hard to go through some of the changes and to let go
Mhm.
some of the things that we have to let go of. Where it takes you is just so much, it's liberating, because Pisces is the energy of liberation, and it liberates our soul. We become liberated from a material attachment, and we're liberated into a spiritual state from it, and we transform. It's a transcending eclipse. And again, it depends on how attached you are to that which we have to release, which determines how well you sort of travel through this eclipse. And then Mars, don't forget, is ruling the planet Mercury, which is the ruler of this eclipse. So Mercury is about to go into retrograde, but remember, Mars is in Cancer, so it's debilitated. So there is
Mhm.
emotional moons, full moons, emotions come out. You know, there's an emotional release, like you were saying. Um, um, and but it's the end of this pattern, an end of a negative pattern. And it's karmic. It's part of this karmic release where we're no longer fitting in an old material realm. Like it's our material world doesn't fit the spiritual growth that we've had. So that's a way to look at it. And you know, these eclipses often can trigger fears, and because it triggers a lack of control. And mutables, and it's a mutable eclipse, so it means it's going to be better. We're changing and adapting for the better. So and it has this beautiful trine sextile here. We're going to talk about this now. This is a really super positive element to this eclipse. I mean, this is like that sudden, the Uranus on that 2007 eclipse made us have a wild, sudden rabbit shock change like thing. Like I actually had a person give me a spiritual, they were eye readers. They gave me, and they said, you don't, you're not in the right relationship. You got to get out. It's killing your soul. And it was like, that's how I felt, right? So it was like I had a spiritual thing, whatever, a psychic reading, and it completely shifted me. I went home and asked and said, we got to end this, because he was right. So there was a spiritual evolution in that shock. It was sudden. So now we've got this, that's an 18-year cycle. So now we've got the benefits of having gone against our comfort zones, of having made those big radical shifts and changes that were shocking, that were not in our control. That shift that's internal, that then made us act external, that changed our situation. And so this is going to be the rewards of that transformative facing the unknown, by the way, because facing the unknown, oh, I have a note on that. What is that? Through destruction of rebirth. So this through to destruction, new birth, we have rebirth. And I want to find that one. I've made notes. Oh, embracing when we embrace the unknown, in there is divine, we find divine secrets there. So by embracing the unknown,
Mhm.
we step into the divine secrets that are waiting for us to discover. And that's what happens when these eclipses come. We step out into the unknown. We let go of something that was our security. Virgo is very much about working hard so it's stable and secure and feeds us. It's a house where we feed our, it's a work house. It's a work energy. So these are work related shifts. Um, so gosh, I feel like there's a lot to say, but I'll say more as we go through each 12 sign. I'll make it more on that.
Yeah,
I'll get more specific when we go through the 12 signs.
I loved that you brought in the charts from the last two eclipse cycles from 2007 because, and while you were talking, I was kind of like, my way of going back, if I don't remember some specific thing that happens, is I always go
Mhm.
look at my photos from that time
Yeah.
period. I was looking just really quickly to see if there was something that jumped out at me so I could share, anecdotally what was going on in my world. And because when you were sharing your story about your husband and or your ex-husband, um, I find it really interesting because nothing's jumping out at me now, so I'm not really sure what was happening around that time. But I think it's also curious to maybe put together the Venus retrograde storyline along with the eclipse storyline, because there's likely going to be some, they may not be necessarily connected, but those are going to be areas of your life to really pay attention to. So I'm so glad that you brought that up. And
One more,
yeah,
sorry, wanted to bring the other one up is 2016. Now that was halfway between these two eclipses. So the one
okay.
in 2016, that's when I started studying astrology. And I
What
let go of
what
my
month?
house. That I got it here. Let's see. 2016, let's see, we had, so March 23rd was, no, I'm sorry, the March 9th one was a Pisces. The Virgo one was September 1, and that is when I sold my house.
Mm.
So yeah, these were the eclipses that, so that was, so so if I'm going to use me as an example, that's when I started astrology. I'd already started working as a tarot reader. Then I started studying astrology, and that's also when I sold my house. So I let go of my ex-husband, then the house. So it was like it's all in alignment. So now on this eclipse, interesting things are happening.
So, okay, Madelaine, so fascinating. 2016, I know that one. That was also that was around the time that my marriage was
Mm,
ending and
mhm.
ultimately led to me moving and leaving that
Yep.
house. And now I'm in the midst. I believe that this eclipse is going to be falling on my fourth and 10th houses. Um, is that true? Yes.
Your rising Scorpio,
Yeah. Yeah. Or is it fifth and 11th?
Taurus, uh, is it the ninth, Virgo? Scorpio, Scorpio, you're going to have, is it Taurus at your top? I'll do it this way.
I have one. No, I have Leo Virgo at the top.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So it's going to happen in your 11th house.
Yeah. But I
Nice.
think the actual
Really
point
nice.
of like this particular like 23 degrees Virgo for me is in my 10th house, not the 11th. Like to go
I
specifically,
see.
you know?
Okay.
And so what's fascinating to me is I'm in this transitional period now of moving, letting go of a home and work shifting as well. Relationship wise, that's good. There's no thing there, but at least not that I'm aware of. It's like it hasn't revealed
You
itself.
never know with this eclipse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think it's really helpful for people to kind of see, just like you were saying, Madelaine, and giving a um, giving some sort of like guidance is like, okay, where to look and what that means. I mean, fourth house can literally mean moving. It
Yep.
has to do with your family and your ancestry. And then we have 10th house, which is your work, how you show up in the world. And, that's also shifting. So I can feel that it's almost like the ground underneath my feet is a little bit unstable right now. I feel a sense of faith and trust in it all working out, but right now I don't exactly see it. So
Yes. If ever Uranus is in the picture, it feels very unstable, but it's actually breaking up an unstable situation to help you be more stable.
mhm, I
But it
feel
doesn't feel
that.
that way. It feels
Yeah.
like you know, it's an
Yeah.
earthquake energy, a little bit when Uranus is there, the metaphor of that. But there could always be a earthquake. One should always be prepared for that with these energies, especially with the Aries eclipse coming up, because Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. So this eclipse makes a trine to that. So if you have a square to that, you could be, it's just something to be aware of.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I find that if I have at least a sense of something that might be on the horizon, I don't need to know the specifics necessarily or even, focus on it too much, but just to know like, oh man, all right, this thing that just happened that I'm finding uncomfortable or I'm not enjoying, I know that it's for a bigger reason and purpose. And that at least makes me feel slightly better about it,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it's positive in some form. All right, shall we dive into Aries?
Yep. Let's do it. I'm doing it different. I'm not using those cards. I'm gonna do the number. Where are we? Or maybe that's too hard to do. The where are we on timing? I was thinking I could do it that way. Do you see a timing? But now
Mm-mm,
I don't see a timing, so that's
no.
hard to do. Okay, I guess I gotta use my
Um,
cards. I've got them right here.
I wonder, I guess we probably would have been better for us to try to figure a new system. Maybe Madelaine will figure out a new system next time.
Yeah.
There's a way that we can
And you
pop
know
up.
what? Every time I look back, I'm telling you, we leave out like two or three.
Dang.
I
You know what maybe I will do? Sorry, everyone. You're in on the journey with us here. I wonder if I put like in the chat between the two of us, I'm gonna put uh maybe I'll just drop it in the chat. And then that way when we get the chat, Madelaine, it'll have the time. Uh,
Oh, okay,
although
yeah.
that's not going to help because it shows the
Right.
time, but not like the time in the video. So never mind. Okay.
All right. We'll keep doing this. All
Yeah.
right, Aries. So this is going to happen in your sixth house. So that's, that's like the Virgo house. So what's happening for Aries right now? Well, they're really letting go of bad habits, addictions, patterns of relating in the world that's stressful. They're relaxing more. They're going to have Pisces over their 10th, their 12th house. So there's a lot going on with them karmically right now. It's a very karmic transit because whenever you have the South Node is karmic, but it's also very spiritual. The South Node in your chart is where we're supposed to become, where we're learning to be more spiritual and less material, right? So, so Aries are becoming less money motivated, less security motivated, less sort of driven in a very Aries head way, and becoming more concerned with not as much status as they are more concerned with helping others and being of service, of true service. And they want to purify their motives, and they want to be of pure service and humility and releasing karmic. It's almost like they're putting down the, what's that term? There's a word for it. They're taking the monkey off their back, or they're taking their ego. It's about ego versus service. And the Aries can be quite ego. So that it's like they're breaking through the ego to be of service. And they want to know what that is. It's almost like they want to operate in a less ego way because it hasn't worked. And so there's a new belief. It's like a shift from within. It's like not because this is the energy of releasing control, but it's almost like releasing control because you don't have any control. So you may as well give up. It's a surrendering. This is all about surrendering. And also this, so what happens instead, right? So the North Node of that South Node moon, full moon, you realize is no longer working for you. It creates too much debt, is creating enemies, and it's like you're coming to a place of realization that a way of operating is karmically causing more karma, and so now you want to be of pure service. And yeah, because I wrote all my notes here. I'm going through my notes. Yeah, just releasing negative habits. And then with that trine, so that trine, and by the way, a sixth house is not an easy house to have an eclipse in. It's a bit hard to face. It's like you have to face something about yourself, and it's not easy, it's painful. So I don't want to underemphasize some of the challenging parts of these eclipses, but the good part that happens is a surprise opportunity comes in that you can be of really high service. So it's almost like the Aries are now ready to step into. It's almost when that shift happens, when we make that shift inside. We were talking about this earlier. Remember how when you make an internal shift, because this eclipse is about internal shifts. So suddenly an internal shift happens to the Aries person where they're suddenly shifting, and that energetic shift suddenly puts them in the right energy for success at something they've been trying at that hasn't been successful. So it's like the shift, they're healed. It's a healing. This is about they've healed something. And it is a control thing that they've healed. And it's about, because they've got Earth over all their work houses, right? They've got Capricorn over their 10th, and Earth houses over their works, was a Taurus over their second. So it's like that's a very kind of trying to make traction all the time. And whereas now there's like this flow energy, this trusting, this spiritual. I want to do what is divinely willed. I want to do what it was intended for me to do. I don't want to fight. I don't want to be in my head about it anymore. I want to seek alignment with this service. But this opportunity comes in that rewards that shift. That's what's so beautiful about this eclipse. It's a really nice eclipse. You can get over the bump, the ego bump, but it's about failing at something. And then in that failure, we're more in alignment with a true service, it was failed because it was coming from ego rather than, shall we say, doing good, the motive to do good. And so that's shifting for the Aries. And so they get this beautiful thing happening that they then are in alignment to do good and of high service.
Okay. Well, Aries has the passion flower as
That's
their
interesting.
flower of support. And this literally is giving Aries directions on what to do during this moon cycle to be supportive. It's sleep more,
Yeah.
rest. That's what Aries needs to do right now. And you were touching in on that a little bit. This flower allows Aries to let go of mental chatter in order to relax.
Mm.
And as they relax, they are able to refine their intuitive and spiritual connection,
Yes.
which is that Pisces energy. Um, and that is, we've got the eclipses here. So it's laying that foundation for the future for them. So Aries,
Well,
just
yeah,
rest.
because the Aries have Pisces over their 12th house also. So if they, and also it's like letting go of being busy, you then can, this just what you said, absolutely perfect. But also they have Pisces over their 12th house. So they have spiritual awakenings when they travel, when they go in nature, when they go by
Mm,
themselves, when they're not like, because they're quite charismatic people, Aries, they got a lot of attention. So when they're they really get their spiritual growth without the ego, you know, whatever, ego praising.
yeah.
I
That,
love
that
Aries. I don't mean to be hard on Aries. I learn a lot from the Aries in my life. We can all do well to have Aries in us,
yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's
but I
not a
won't
negative thing. It's
hard
like
on
it's
you.
all the different pieces of us, the facets.
Yes.
It's
I have
important.
my Jupiter in Aries, so I have Aries in me. Love that I do. Yeah.
Taurus.
Okay, Taurus. So Taurus, you guys are
For the
going to have,
card, Madelaine.
oh, yep. Thank you. Thank you, mucho. Taurus. My son's moved to Puerto Rico, so I need to learn Spanish to go visit. Okay, Taurus, 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 Taurus. I got to hold it up a minute. All right. So this is happening for Taurus in your 11th house. Wow. How great is that? That's really nice. Good luck house. That's like a dream wishes house, your dreams, your aspirations. And it's friends groups. And so for Taurans, there's going to be some sort of like um I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm wrong, 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 wrong. I take that back. What am I
Fifth
thinking?
house.
Yes, sorry. I got to fix something. All right, let me do this the right way here. Sorry. Um, Taurus, it's going to be in there. Let me get to it here. Taurus, this Virgo is in your 5th house. All right. So that's letting go of friends that are not people pleasing, letting go of trying to make friends all the time, of letting go of a friends group that are just not the right group for you. And this is about learning um it's basically the Taurans are letting go of friendships that they made for sake of making friends. And now they're they're no longer wanting to distort their experience in life around friends. And so they're letting go and they're focusing more on soul connected people that feel really close. They want to they're surrounding themselves more with warmth, like warm soul connections. But it comes with perhaps pain and betrayal from friends that are not in your best interest, as it were. But So in other words, there's a shift internally where you just don't want to work hard for friends anymore. You just don't want to do all the right things to make people happy with you. It's like, oh, forget it. I'm going to let that one go. And then what happens is then you discover the ones that are true for you. And then an opportunity can come in because fifth house is entrepreneurial group projects. If you're like, for instance, an artist or musicians, most Taurans are artists, a lot of them are. There's a collaborative creative project can come in that feels really in alignment with your soul, that's really fulfilling, and it's a friendship that you don't have to work for. You suddenly realize your true friends are ones you don't have to work for. And then this new opportunity that comes in, or a new friend comes in. Also pregnancy, pregnancy is in this potential too for anyone who's in that stage of life. But it's basically you become released, because once you release this friendship control thing, you suddenly become creatively free. It opens up some sort of creative, because you might have been trying to fit in a box with certain people, and now you just, because you don't anymore, you suddenly let yourself be creative and inspired about a new project comes in, other friends come in that are more in alignment with your dharma, with your purpose, with what you're here for. And so this shift inside the Taurans about friends puts them on the path to a creative project, and a friends, and perhaps a new friends come in, new people, because you usually meet people on eclipses, so that are significant. So a significant new friend comes in that you co-collaborate or have a very creative partnership or creative inspired work. If you're a musician, they really work with you. It's a new musician that comes in and joins your band, or it's a new opportunity to go perform, or it's an opportunity to act, because of this new friendship. Because you let something go in this department, it then opens you up for a whole new sort of totally new direction in your life.
It's just fascinating to me,
Ah,
just listening to you talking about the shifts that are taking place within friends, creative
yep.
projects, things like that. And how do we access the information around friends and creative projects is through our own inner journey,
Yeah.
likely catalyzed or highlighted by relationships and people in our life. So we have the gardenia
Ooh.
for Taurus. And, the gardenia, when you look at this flower, it looks very pure. It's this like beautifully pure white flower, but there's all these petals, all these different facets and all these different parts of this flower. And so it's also encouraging Taurans to access their shadow side, like the darker side of themselves, in order to come into a place of purity. And the place of purity comes from embracing all parts of yourself, loving all parts of yourself.
I hate to interrupt your flow, but it's the higher mind, because the fifth house can be the mind and the intellect. So it's just what you're saying. It's going from the lower mind to the higher mind. Keep going.
Okay. So this card also, to me, like when I tune into it, it's coming into a place of purity of heart, with then being able to have clear perception around, is this project something that is right for me? Is this friend group a group that is really aligned with who I truly am? And it allows you to also transform any perceived weaknesses into strengths. So it might be that a friends group is telling you something about yourself that isn't really, they're not perceiving it quite the way that is best for you. Like they may see it as a weakness, but really it's your strength. They may not like it because it goes against something that they feel strongly about, or their belief system in some way, but really it's who you are. And being able to really see things clearly and shift your perception around yourself and the people around you is
Mhm.
pretty much what the gardenia is supporting folks to do, and lines up quite beautifully with what you shared as well.
Yes, yes.
Good.
And that higher mind thing, because here's the mantra, as it were, for this, because I wrote all a bunch of notes. So your mind is a divine instrument. Purify it through wisdom and devotion, and you will create reality with intention.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
for Taurus. Nice.
Create reality with intention. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay. Gemini, my dear.
Gemini. Gemini. This blue background, just so everybody knows, I don't know how to get rid of this blue background. I got stuck with it. I was playing around and I know how to do my background, so it's not there. So I'm just saying, when I
Well,
figure,
if anyone has any tips that are
yeah.
watching, drop it in the chat. I'll be popping back and forth to take a look.
Thanks. All right, so for Gemini, this is happening in your, let's get to Gemini here. Where am I? Am I in Gemini? Gemini, yeah, this is happening in, I just got to get to whole sign. I'm in Placidus here, sorry. So for Gemini, this is happening in your boopity boop, fourth house. Wow. So you're letting go of a living situation. You're letting go also family karma, also family patterns, family habits, things that you just did because they were what the family did. It's the house of our ancestries, and it's where we're from. So we're evolving, we're all evolving. So we're letting go of family habits, ancestral wounding. We're healing. It's very spiritual. It's where was our ancestors fear-based, too material, too attached. And it can also play, so we're making an internal shift here, which then puts you in a position to really attract your true family, your spiritual family, you're leaving a pattern, and so you're making a higher family, a better home. And you're leaving some of the old ways of seeing, because we have to let go of the old ways, old perceptions. This eclipse is about releasing old perceptions all the way around. So we're old family perceptions, and we're finding a more spiritually aligned way to live, home, family. It could be that you move in and you live with someone who feels more like home. You want home. You want a safe and secure nest. It's about finding your true home. Let me get my notes on this so I don't leave anything out. Because when I write my notes and then afterwards I go, oh, I forgot to say that. So it's like for Gemini, it's like there's a very big karmic clearing in this one, because whenever you have the cardinal houses, you're getting kind of more of a notable shift. And it is ruled by Mercury, Gemini, and this is a Mercury full moon. So you're realizing where you're living isn't enough. You're realizing, remember, the full moon brings a culmination. It's the end. You're most likely going to move when an eclipse on your fourth house like this. And basically you're meeting also it's your emotions. Yes. So there's an emotional, an awareness of a habit of emotional issues. Like I was talking to you earlier, in Vedic, I'm Gemini, so it works. I listen to both. So I became really shifted in an emotional struggle that I had around love. We were talking about that and how I can use it as strength rather than pain. And so Gemini are healing some sort of emotional, deep wounding, ancestral wounding, and then they're going to shift it and become spiritual with it. So you let go of an attachment in that. That's where it happens, is you really release an attachment and then you embrace sort of inner harmony. So basically, the Gemini are finding peace with subconscious emotional troubling that they're just carrying on from their past. It's just baggage, basically. Um, yeah, you're clearing ancestral wounding, and healing the divine mother energy within. These are all my notes.
Mm.
Um, so it's basically leaving, it's basically ending habits that are just for the sake of that you're unconsciously doing, because it's just habit. That's what this full moon is basically realizing, what we're unconsciously doing on a day-to-day that isn't beneficial for us. So Gemini, and then we've got this wonderful opportunity coming in, right, with that sextile. So you make that shift. You could maybe get into your true right relationship. You suddenly know what you really want, where you want to live that really enriches your soul. And then again, these shifts and things that are occurring, you're going to move. Um, things are going to shift really quickly, because this is a big energetic shift. You suddenly have the confidence to not stay in the nest, as it were, the psychological nest of mother, of what mother did, of what mother wants, of what felt like home. Suddenly you realize what's your soul home, where do you really want to go and live and build a family? And then there's some beautiful opportunity comes in. I mean, it could involve you get a really good offer on a house, a big income offer, a big beautiful place shows up that you've always dreamed. You're like, I can't. You manifest like this in eclipses when you shift. Suddenly your dream house appears, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe. And you can move at the same time that you realizing that you're only living there because it's felt like where you were as a child, or it was
Familiar.
nostalgia.
Hmm. Well,
So go ahead. Yeah.
this flower to me is very nostalgic, the
Oh,
dandelion. I mean, I think most kids, at least in the US, had some sort of a little relationship with dandelion as a kid because they grow everywhere. They're like the some of the first flowers of spring, and you pick them and it's just like fun. And um it's, to me, so reminiscent of that fourth house sort of energy when it comes to that family connection, your childhood, your ancestry. And the dandelion also encourages us um, to be aware of where we hold tension in our bodies.
mm,
And I find, and maybe this is a story I'm making up about tension in our bodies. When it comes to family, the tension in our bodies, those things when we get together with family, there are certain things they get emotionally get activated in us and we kind of hold on to it. Maybe not saying something because we know it's going to create a big ruckus. So we just kind of hold that in. And when we hold it in, we are actually creating disharmony in the body. This is kind of the overarching theme with that Red Penstemon even brings up. That creates disease. That creates issues within the body. So this dandelion, and I would say even for Gemini's, dandelion tea might be a really supportive, easy way to help navigate this, especially when it comes to family stuff. I think family stuff is one of the most challenging places for us to work through
mm.
issues. Um, Dandelion also supports mental freedom and clarity, which I love because this is a mercurial ruled eclipse. So this may feel a little bit challenging, but it's really so alchemizing for Gemini. Um,
Yeah, and look at that dead flower there. It's like that's the thing that's going.
yes, just like let it shrivel up. It doesn't need to be a part of your life
Yeah,
anymore.
and it's the mutable signs, so they're the ones that are going to have kind of the most
Yeah,
jarring, you know.
yeah.
So
So
they may
yes,
end relationships. That looks like a perhaps ending of relationships, too.
so drink some tea, I would say.
And again, aligning with your more divine connection.
Yeah.
All right.
Cancer.
Here, this is in your third house. I know very well this eclipse. I study it quite solidly. So for a Cancer, rising sun or moon, now both basically, this is going to be very powerful for Cancer because they're ruled by the moon. You've got Mars in your first house, so you're very emotional. Oh my God. I went to an event last night and I just started crying. Just because they did this beautiful presentation of struggle and win, and it was tearing up. So Cancers are very emotional.
Oh.
If a man walks across a room with a flag, I start crying. Just and if there's a music playing. So anyway, so yeah, so Cancers are going to feel a big emotional release, and it's some kind of an ending of a perception for sure, because that third house is about our mind, our thinking. And let me get my notes on that. So on the so this is where this is such a big shift for Cancer, because when you shift your perceptions about something, this is a spiritual shift. Like for me, I started doing tarot. I was like on the same eclipse, and then I started doing astrology. So suddenly you believe in something, and I didn't believe in astrology. I remember asking someone, "Is it really real? Do you really think that the planets up there can?" Like, I just didn't believe it. And they went, "Yes, I really do." And then I thought, all right, well, I really believed her. So I went and studied it. I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. That's that Uranian thing. So there's this sudden shift in a belief, like, like that shifts your destiny. That shifted my work. This is a work house, the third house. So it's like it shifts how it, it actually, I think it's a desire house. It's a desire house. So so you suddenly desire something different. you go for, it is also a work house. It's a business house, communication, media. You could let go of a social media thing. You suddenly have an awakening. You want to go a different direction, a different spiritual direction. And you let go of a habit, a day-to-day way of working on your dharma, which is this is a dharma one for Cancer because they get shift more into their dharma. It is for everybody, but this is really clear, like, boom, you're on your path. Like I put me on my path of astrology, which is my love. It's crazy that I didn't find it until then. So anyway, so this is a big spiritual shift for Cancers. They wake up to who they are, what they're here to do. And by the way, Cancers are really in for a windfall on this eclipse. And many people are, not just Cancer, because of that Uranian trine to the eclipse. So sun liberating news that can either take you traveling, but liberates you financially. Because there's some sort of a shift here to a more spiritual realm. And I think Cancers are one of the one signs that really need to walk a spiritual path or they starve. I mean, in other words, their dharmic path is the way they're going to be fed. Not everybody is fed on their dharmic path. They feed. But so this eclipse is going to clear a fear. Like for me, it cleared the fear of ending my marriage. I was too afraid to be thrown out into the world. So this is emboldening. It gives you a lot of faith. You don't even know where that faith is coming from. Well, it's coming from the eclipse. It's coming from the planets, the North Node in Pisces. So this is an eclipse that could bring Cancers into a new business, a new writing project, a new media project out there, media, writing, communication, talking. Something is shifting in their inner energy field that sees that this is because remember it's Virgo, so it's a service. It's a service vocation, devotion to it. And you're going to get some kind of, it's a very good chance that you get some kind of a download because of that ninth house with Pisces up there. So you get some sort of like vision. I had a vision. I've had visions on these eclipses and I suddenly see my destiny. I see where I'm headed. And then you go that way. You see that, what you say, no, that's the right way. People think you've lost your mind, but that's the right way. Literally people saying, have you lost your mind?
Yes, I've been told that same thing in my life. Like, what are you thinking? This is crazy.
Yeah, so this is a eclipse for the Cancers where your voice is a divine tool. So use it wisely to spread truth and uplift others. So the other thing about this eclipse is the truth is the spiritual breakthrough. So it's because it's a perception, it's in the third house, it's a Gemini house. We're looking for the truth, and it's a ninth house. So we're really looking for the truth. And through, what was it that I said? The truth. I have a little quote here about the truth. True knowledge liberates the soul. Seek wisdom. So in other words, we're looking for true knowledge, true wisdom, because it liberates the soul. So that's the journey for Cancer right now, is to set off on this journey. It's a vision quest. It's literally, that's when I went on my vision quest. I've been on a vision quest. You get this vision and you're like, okay, I'm going to go after that vision because it came to me for a reason. So then you set off on the fool's journey. It's the tarot card. You start off at the beginning and you go through all those steps. So
You're gonna love this flower.
no, okay, go for it.
You just said the fool. Don't
Yeah.
tell me this doesn't look like a fool or like a jester hat.
Oh, wow. You're right. It does.
It really does. So, were you done, Madelaine? I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically jumping deeper into your dharmic calling and without seeing where it's going, but having a vision. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is the bee balm for Cancer. And bee balm allows Cancerians to be a little more lighthearted, bringing this natural balance into life. And there's a feeling of hopefulness that comes through stillness with this flower. And when you're in that place of stillness and the hopefulness arises, it's almost like this calm that comes from within that allows you to navigate whatever transition or trauma or heartache that has moved you or propelled you into this direction. So the bee balm comes in It's almost like I mean, I think of balms, I think of salves, something that just smooths out maybe some rough edges or rough energies. Um, kind of with Madelaine, I'm thinking there could be this energy of a heartache that is soothed and
Mm,
now allows for this opening of a transition into a whole new paradigm, a whole
yeah,
new shift,
yeah,
and when it comes to heartache, it's also there's usually another person involved. And
yeah.
where are they on their journey? Are they lining up? Are you kind of like now being able to move parallel to each other and then can come together and walk that path as one unit?
Yeah, I mean, that's so interesting because the series of eclipses for me involved ending that relationship with my ex-husband and then moving out of the house, selling the house. And both of those things were my sources of security, and
Yeah.
safety. So yeah, that's suddenly like a spiritual breakthrough where you trust. But making that shift inside, what
Yes.
I just what we were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. And the other thing too about this card is like with all the purple in
Yeah,
it as well, and the green. So we've got
I see.
green like heart, and then we also have this purple of this divine energy that's coming in to soothe in a way, to comfort, to be there as you go through this transition, which I feel like for Cancer has been happening for a little while. It's
Mhm.
just now it's kind of we're reaching this culmination point in a way for there to be an something opening up with the heart, something else that's going to show up that will, and it's communication related.
Heart chakra opening up in these energies for sure. But that card, yeah, that card, see that green in the center is Virgo, because when you do astrology, you usually put green for Virgo or green for
Mhm.
earth signs, and then purple is Pisces. So you're doing the Virgo Pisces axis right there in that card, which is
Yeah,
the realm and the physical realm and finding that breakthrough. And yeah, cancers are breaking through in a way, some sort of ego control
yeah.
into more flow.
So nice. Okay.
Woohoo! So
Leo, don't pick a
Leo.
card.
Oh, gracias.
De nada.
There's an Indian restaurant just opened up on the corner here of my little town. And I used to live in Nepal. And so I know a little Hindi. So I go in there and talk Hindi with them and say namaste and dhanyabad. And
That's it.
I know 5 sentences in Hindi and they're like shocked. I go in there.
Oh, but I bet that really makes them probably makes them feel really joyful and happy that you.
Yeah. And
Oh,
they're all into astrology. And then they said to me, and I said, the first night they opened, I went, wow, you guys went, it just business was crazy crowd. And they said it was because of your blessing. Isn't that nice?
oh, that really is.
Yeah.
You're walking your divinely guided path, Madelaine.
Yes, I think I
Yeah.
am. I hope so. All right. So Leo, gosh, Leo, Leo, Leo. Let's get your chart up. I've got my notes to stick up, and then I got the chart. Let me get the Leo on the ascendant here. Okay, Leo. Ooh, eighth house. Ooh, yow, ooh. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But this is involving your fears, Leo. Okay, that you are going to be
Yeah.
releasing fears. Try not to get into the fears. It's going to trigger, but try to overcome it. Try not to let it scare you.
Isn't it
Um,
the second house? Second and eighth. I mean, second for the moon, eighth for the sun, correct?
oh, right. I'm sorry, I was looking at your Pisces house. You're right. You're right. Right. See, my brain is upside down. Okay. Yes, second house can fear you, can scare you because that had an eclipse in my second house when my alimony died. But it was the biggest blessing in my life because I'm so much happier. I wanted my own career and I wanted to earn my own money anyway. So it was like when you have an eclipse in your second house, some way of making money that isn't great for you, but it's scary because it's secure, goes away, but puts you on your dharmic spiritual mission path. And it makes you let go of something that isn't that's the theme of this whole thing is that it's stressful, it makes you busy, it was a secure choice. It's what else? A perception that you hold that this is how you have to earn your money. And then what happens is a really good, perhaps financial windfall comes in, a really good opportunity financially comes in, and Oh, yeah. So speak with wisdom and truth, and abundance will follow. Those are my words carry divine power. So for Leo, it's almost like they're going to have more faith in. They're taking a risk. They're going more for a. Basically, what's happening for Leo is, and I'm thinking my son on this, is having the courage here to step out and take a risk and follow a spiritual yearning, a calling, your dharma, your path. And it feels scary, but I do think with this eclipse, a really good opportunity comes in like a windfall because this is blessing your second house. So this new way of making money, if it doesn't, or an opportunity comes in that is just perfect. Like if I was to think of my son, for instance, he's doing like his own clothing company. He's got his own ideas, and I love what he's doing. So this for him would be a really good client or a really big sale or a big recognition or notoriety. Um, and so it can really put the Leo out onto the map more. Again, and I should have said that about Cancer too, because it was Uranus is in your 11th house, so you can get sudden visibility, sudden recognition. But for Leo, they could suddenly find a sort of really great way to earn money and feed yourself that is really in alignment with your dharma, that really supports a spiritual path or a risk choice that you're taking. Because you're letting go of the perception that you need to earn your money this way. Suddenly, you suddenly see that you can actually make money and feed yourself through an divinely intended of service. But again, we're all shifting from security to service to seeing that, wow. And in fact, this is a really useful way that shows up that you can make money that makes you that's of service and it's useful to other people. So let me just quickly go through my notes and look and see what did I do with my Leo notes? Where are you, Leo notes? Leo notes. So basically, Leo are basically believing in abundance, letting go of the fear that abundance is not true, and trusting their abundance and trusting their desire, the way to earn money. Because remember, this North Node being in Pisces is going to liberate us. So for Leo, it's like, wow, can I really do this and make money at it? And like, boom, yes, I can. And that shift from the internal fear zone of not being financially supported, that shift, like you just jump into this other way because you sink or swim. But it's okay, you'll swim. But like what happened to me when my alimony dried up, I had it was the best thing for me, and I had to really jump in and throw all my eggs in that basket. And this is in my new basket of earning my own income, and I just fell in love with it. It was like I was the happiest thing. But it's like knowing that you've got something that can make you money, so you pedal that bike, boom, 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 you're going for it. And this is a hardworking eclipse. The new things that come in, we do have to apply ourselves to and be devoted and disciplined. So looks good for Leo.
Well, look at this card for Leo. The
Wow.
strawberry blossom. I feel like Leo's the past several moon cycles have had flowers that have this like kind of bold,
Mm,
bam in your face sort of
great.
energy. Like, the night blooming Sirius is one that's similar. And then this is strawberry blossom has a similar feel to it as well. And, even we've got this like, it's just this brightness to it. So the strawberry blossom is a flower of optimism, of expect the best.
Mm,
So, kind of when what you were sharing, Madelaine, it felt like to me, especially with it being in the second house of money, finances, value, what you value. It's almost like when you're lined up with the part of yourself that is connected to your mission and purpose. It's not based on money. It's based on what you value and how you can give value or bring value to the world. That's when something opens up and you have an opportunity to make the financial um, equivalent. It's almost like an energetic reciprocity in a way. This flower is very much connected to an openness to growth and opportunities. You literally were saying something along those lines, being open to these opportunities that present.
Mhm.
Um, it offers a fresh perspective, and it also dissolves that feeling of having to expect the worst or preparing for the worst. It's just really trusting in the flow. And the more we are focused on being of service, which I don't so love that term because I feel like it's overused. It's like, how can we tap into our innate gifts and talents and express those in the world? Because doing that is how we are being of service. That's how we are showing up to contribute our part. And Leos, typically, it's something that's like outward facing. You're on a stage, you are in a leadership position, but it requires courage. You're doing something bold, you're doing something courageous, creative as well. So when you're doing those things, you kind of know you're on the right path.
Yeah, just a little added thing there.
Yeah,
It's useful.
useful. Something
For
useful.
its, yes.
Okay.
For instance, using my son as an example, he's making these bags that are probably too expensive and whatever. Yeah, but but suddenly people want to buy the belt. And it's
Ah,
practical, usable. So you can make
okay.
butter, your bread and butter money, get these belts done, just throw the belts out, but then keep working on your other dreams or other creative projects. But it's something useful and practical with
Love that.
that will help. Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great, I'm so glad that you mentioned that because that's specifically, I mean, I'm a Leo sun, so I feel connected to this energy in my
Yeah.
own way. And I think that's a really good refinement of the
Yeah.
focus of
Yeah.
something that's useful and practical, whatever it is, whatever
It
that gift is that you have.
it helps people. It's easy, it's useful. It's like inventing, making a tool, and everybody suddenly can make something now with this tool. So it's very useful. That'll help you see it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, already that's sparking some
Good.
inspired ideas in me right now. So yeah, very cool.
Think
All right.
about practical and useful. Virgo.
Virgo, here we go.
All right. Life transformative for Virgo. Basically, Virgo, this is going to hit your first house. So something really does shift and change. And of course, you can go back and look at these eclipses going back 2016 and 2007, but you're going to become basically less. There's something about your personality and who you are that's shifting and changing that is more, I would say, neurotic or perfectionistic. It's like you're letting, oh,
Erotic.
sorry, Virgo. Um, you're basically uh, going through a deep personal transformation, entirely internal, like shift. Of course, we all are, but for Virgo, of course, it's almost they're going to be a new person completely. And they are really detoxing. This is a big time. This is a big body detox for Virgo because it's your first house is your body. So they want to do lots of saunas. Everybody ought to do saunas and meditation and low key kind of things and through the eclipses in general. But for Virgo, there's a big release, let go of there's some sort of a perception shift in who they are where they've been trying to control how people see them, or because they're perfectionistic, they're afraid that if they're not perfectionistic, if they don't have all their ducks in a row all their time and they don't, everything's neat and perfect, people are going to judge them and not like them, and they don't even like themselves then. Well, they're letting that go. They're letting that go. They're seeking more of a spiritual release and trust and sort of let me get the actual quote here that'll help. It's perfection lies in surrender. When you align with divine flow, everything falls into place. So that's the shift for Virgo. They're releasing and they're surrendering, they're letting go. Something that they usually these eclipses come with giving up, so something may have been a problem and hurt or been painful, and so they're releasing, and then they're just it's like they're flowing. Well, think about Pisces over their seventh house, so they're evolving more to spiritually aligned divine mates through these transits. But they are also releasing a perception of who they are. They almost are going to live, because Virgo's very much, Pisces Virgo's very much about perceptions. So they're releasing some sort of identity of who they've been. And it's they're going for more spiritually soul. They want to express more of an inner version of themselves rather than the external perfect version. So they're having a transformation inside out. They're going to start showing who they are on the outside, flaws and all.
You know, I find this fascinating too, because it's,
Yeah.
obviously the sun, the moon is in the first house, the sun is in the seventh house. So you have the house of self, the house of relationship with other. And what I find fascinating about this too is my daughter, who's a Virgo sun,
Mm-hmm.
is she's moving in with her boyfriend.
Ah,
So she's
yep.
got, and that isn't necessarily fundamentally changing who she is, but it is fundamentally changing something within the relationship, which will have an impact on who she is.
Yep. It's that Pisces, the relationship access that's happening for Virgo and Pisces is hitting their relationship houses. So it's very much connected.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, the main thing that Virgo are starting also, like, they're going to develop more spiritual practices. They're going to align more with some sort of day-to-day habits that are more spiritually aligned. They're refining their soul's purpose. They're surrendering their ego, embracing humility, all of that. They're see, and then this beautiful opportunities coming in because of the shift, because they're no longer so externally trying to control an external perception of who they are. They suddenly become their soul's version of who they are. And because of that, they align with their Dharma. When you align with your Dharma, you attract that pot of gold, or that you attract your Jupiter, because Jupiter is Dharma, and Jupiter is always a great benefic. So when you step into your Dharma, you step into your good luck, basically. So that's why this is such a nice eclipse, because once we make that internal transformation, we open up to our Dharma, which opens up to our Jupiter, which blesses us.
well, if anyone didn't quite follow all that,
Do you want me to say it again? No.
basically follow your purpose and doors open and gifts are rained down upon you.
That's where your pot of gold is.
Yeah. So I literally just mentioned this card in for Leo and Virgo. We have the night blooming Sirius. So tell me, like,
Oh,
these
wow.
two have a lot of a similar sort of feeling. It's like kind of like
Their
hello.
true selves, the true version of who they are is coming out. Their authentic, real, imperfect self.
Well, and we have all this green, which you were talking about earlier, Madelaine, for Virgo,
Mm.
that energy as well. So this is the night blooming Sirius. And this really encourages fearlessness and this just take the leap, just go for it, just do it, do the thing. Realization of your true gifts. And again, that was literally what you were just saying.
Yep.
Um, um, it dissolves any subconscious limitations that one might have. So if maybe there's something a project you've been interested in creating something, doing something, maybe there's some health related change that you want to make, but you've been holding yourself back for some reason that you can't pinpoint. This is going to really help dissolve that, be able to I'm doing it and it's happening now. I'm not holding myself back in any way. It allows you to also understand your shadow side, because with the night blooming Sirius, it's a flower that blooms at night, hence the name. And
Yeah.
so, think about that, a flower that's blossoming at night, we're able to connect with the darker parts of ourselves. And then we have a full moon. This full moon is shining brightly on Virgos right now.
Yeah.
And being able to really access that inner wisdom and the outer as well, like merging those two. Um, it's a time of huge personal growth. I mean,
Yeah.
this is it.
It's a healing. This Virgo is healing diseases, Virgo's diseases. So a lot of Virgos are really healing any sort of habits that are causing diseases or illnesses or quitting habits, right?
Hmm.
But oh God, you tapped on something I really sparked a thought here.
Gifts,
Was
personal
uh,
growth.
is gosh darn it, something to do with health and habit. I lost it.
Oh, I know. What I said. Maybe it'll come back. Talking about the subconscious blocks.
Oh, yes, really important message.
Yeah.
So all material problems are are solved through spirituality. So in other words, if you're sick, really because of that Pisces Virgo axis, if you sick and you have a illness of some sort that's reoccurring or something, you have this eclipse will have you make a shift spiritually, which heals you. So in other words, that controlling energy can make you sick. That can be
Mhm.
that tension, that holding on to things, that attachment to things
Yeah.
causes adrenaline and overdoing things. You have adrenal fatigue, all that kind of stuff. So it's like once you make that spiritual transformation, you let go and surrender and you humble and you stop trying to make everything perfect or trying to run everything, then suddenly you can heal and you let go and you become spiritually, you know, relaxed and surrender. So then the healing light can come in and heal you. And because spiritual Pisces is the spiritual solution for the material problem.
So kind of to add to that a little bit, a little adjunct form of potential support. Okay. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the medical field. I'm simply sharing something that I discovered last week that I thought was really interesting and fascinating. I used this product. I'm getting one for myself to
Mm.
really dive in more deeply, but a lot of our body and the tension and the energy that we store that can cause disease relates to emotions that are trapped. And it also relates to energy that can be stuck. And one of
Mhm.
the key parts of our regulation of our body, what is kind of the control center of it, is our nervous system.
Mhm.
And so you hear about, fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, that sort of energy that connects with the vagus nerve. It's a nerve that runs from the base of our skull all the way down our body. And there's all of these pathways all over our torso into
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
abdomen and our gut. And when there is a miscommunication, a misfire, when we are in sympathetic, so we're in that like,
Hmm.
instead of parasympathetic, which is that rest and digest, very relaxed state, we
Hmm.
are in this chronic feeling of stress, whether we know it or not. And
Yep.
so there's a gentleman named JP Erico. He's written a book called it's right over there. I can't see it from here. It's like the vagus nerve and the immune system, but it's so much more.
Yep.
He's a brilliant guy. I met him last week at an event, and
Hmm.
he created this product with the help of numerous researchers, scientists. There have been studies done, papers written, and it's called True Vega. And it's
Hmm.
basically a vagus nerve stimulator. And you put this, it's a tiny little device. I'll have it hopefully before our next live and I can share it with people. But you just put it on your neck, on your vagus nerve, stimulate it for 2 to 3 minutes twice a day. And it fundamentally can change the health and
Wow.
wellness of your body through
Interesting.
allowing your vagus nerve to operate properly and not constantly be on alert. And
Wow.
it's the work he's done is so fascinating. I'll leave a link below.
Mm.
Again, like I said, I tried it out. I haven't used it over a prolonged period of time, but there are scientific studies that show the efficacy of it and the results from this type of
Interesting.
work. And it's a small thing, a small device that you can carry with you everywhere that takes minutes,
Wow.
not this, you know, huge drawn out, and it's not very expensive. It's a
Mm.
few $100. I know a lot of the products that help support our physical and energetic body are thousands of dollars, or you
Yeah.
have to pay when you go per session. And I have a number of other products that I'm going to be sharing over time, and I'm having these people that I met come on my podcast to talk about these things because I feel like we're all looking to live our best lives. And the way we can do that is by having our bodies in balance, to have our nervous system regulated in a way that can allow us to show and express who we are. So yeah, it's called True Vega. If anyone wants to take a look at it, I actually have a discount code that they offered for me to, because I said, I love this. This is really, really cool. I'd love to share it with my audience. And can you offer us any discounts? And they were willing to give us some
Oh.
discounts, which I really appreciated so much. These guys are awesome. So highly recommended. I'm going to drop a link for the book and the product below this later. So just good
So
stuff, good stuff.
yeah, the other thing that really you know, one of the ways you can really see if your nervous system is heightened is animals, how dogs respond to you, how they act. If you have a pet, they're really good nervous system calmers. But you can usually tell with the dog if you're in really calm, balanced energies, they really calm down around you. They come near
Mhm.
you. They act really mellow. So anyway, that's just another little health tip.
Nice.
All right, so we're going to Libra now.
Don't forget the card, Madelaine.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Oh, I got to stop the share. I can't share until I do the card. That's right. Libra. Okay, Libra, Libra. Let me get, oh, I don't share the chart. That's right. I just hold
No,
this up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay, Libra. Let's get to
I gotta
Libra.
pop off camera for one quick sec, but I'll be right back. I can hear though, and
Okay,
I'll be back.
I'll keep talking. All right, so Libra, this is happening in your 12th house. So this is a big karmic release of a also letting go of a secret, and it is in Mercury. So it is a Mercury ruled eclipse. So there might be some sort of sudden releasing of secret information or releasing of a truth because you're no longer, your perception is shifted that you need to keep it a secret. You now know you need to release a control of, in general, all around your life, being with the Virgo South Node for the 18 months. So it's a general all around karmic release. And basically, true freedom comes from surrender, let go, and let the divine guide you. So it's like let go. And this is the biggest of all the surrenders of all of the signs would be for Libra because of this 12th house. And it is the house of liberation from past life karma. And it is about going on spiritual retreats. And traveling. There may be a traveling, but you also may have a sudden disruption in your travel if you are traveling. Jupiter is also in your ninth house, so travel is definitely big in Libra. But you are going to release a shift in perception is going to either shift you from traveling or make you travel. But also, a shift in perception gives you a spiritual awakening because it is very much about a spiritual awakening and letting go of major attachments all around. It is also basically stress, releasing stress and a way of operating that's just giving you health problems. And it's a habit. Remember, all of these Virgo releases are habits, and you're liberating yourself from this habit. This is a moksha house, which means we liberate from some material struggle and we have a spiritual relief, as it were. Um, and so you're letting go of a material attachment because you see a more spiritual freedom and at peace by releasing it. So, in other words, you couldn't find peace until this was gone, until you release something. There's a transformation when you have an eclipse in the 12th house. It's like a sudden sort of like um it's almost like the first house. Like in your first house, an eclipse changes who you see, how people see you, you're different. But in a 12th house, it's a real shift in your spirit, your soul, your karma. And it's almost like it's like a clean, fresh start. And so you're releasing a past life trauma that was driving you to be this controlling or driving you to try to manipulate life. And so now there's a flow, there's a spiritual surrender. There's a, you know what, I can't, he can energy about it. And then there's like a self-acceptance. When you have a 12th house, it changes you so much from the inside that you become free to be your soul, your true soul. You become more eccentric. You become more the person that you think nobody was going to like, but you just can't do it anymore. Trying to be something or someone you're not just doesn't work anymore. So you become this sort of raw, surrendered version of yourself, and it's a beautiful version of yourself. Let me look at my notes. What's the notes saying here? Let me double check before I move. So nice sudden windfalls, potentially a financial windfall or travel or some sort of travel experience that brings you some sort of opportunity, or it's just such a big shift in your perception that you decide to take a spiritual dharmic path, and you suddenly liberate a fear that was holding you back from a spiritual pursuit or a spiritual journey because you traveled and you see more, you see the world from a different perception, and you open your mind up. And you want to do good in the world. You want to be of service instead of just acting on a karmic cycle. You pull out of a karmic pattern and you decide to sort of be of service, and it liberates you. You feel good about it. You want to do good. Just shifting into that mode of frees you of some sort of ego feeling of trappedness. Um, so there's a freedom for the Libra in this eclipse. Let's see what card shows up. Now I'm
Well,
excited to see. That's hysterical.
the golden columbine, which literally, I don't even know if I need to say much about this flower because it's everything that you just described. So
That's good.
this supports making friends with your inner demons. So all those things about our, the Libran self that they judge, it's like you let that go. You're no longer judging yourself. You are able to expose yourself and be carefree, like being who you are. It's very liberating in a sense. As you show more of who you are, you accept more of who you are, then you're able to receive more love. And Librans are here for that. I mean, that's so much a part of their journey. They're ruled by Venus. It's all about love and that connection, starting first with self. And then, let's see, let me see what other notes I wrote
They've got
here.
all these Aries eclipse in their seventh house. That next eclipse is coming in their seventh house. So that's a big relationship eclipse for them.
Well, this also allows them to dissolve any self-criticism, which I think was another thing that you had mentioned, Madelaine.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so this, to me, it's like this beautiful yellow, bright, bold. I mean, it's like spreading out, but it's like it starts from the center. I mean, I don't know if you can see the
Yes.
delineation here of the petals of the flower, that it's like, it's here in the center, but then there's these offshoots. To me, that's like self first, relationship addition. It's not about the relationship where you feel that sense of worth. It's through your own sense of accepting all parts of yourself and then being authentically, truly who you are. And then that attracts the people into your world that are
Wow.
destined and aligned for you. So, yeah.
Yep. And again, something really positive coming in because of that shift. It frees you up. You feel more liberated. So you take a risk and some sort of opportunity comes in that's really spiritual and more of your dharmic path. And you don't have a fear to do it. You're just like, okay, let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah,
Yep.
let's move. Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
Scorpio
Scorpio. Card, Madelaine.
card. Gracias. See how many times I wouldn't have done it?
Teamwork, babe.
Yep. Okay. Teamwork. Yep. Love it. All right. Scorpio. So this is going to hit what house does it hit for Scorpio? Virgo. Where the heck is Virgo? Oh, and is it in your 11th house? Yeah. Okay, good. Your 11th house. Very nice. Very nice, by the way. You suddenly get your YouTube channel take a nice. Let's try the thumbs up thing. Ooh,
Uh,
didn't work.
oh, that's so funny. Earlier, Madelaine and I we were connecting beforehand. She did this thing, and all of a sudden, this like thumb showed up, and
All
it was
these thumbs up pictures showed up, but now they're not doing that. So, all right. Anyway, back to Scorpio. So yeah, some sort of new tribe. You're letting go of a tribe. You might be letting go of a social media platform. You might be there's or just changing the way you're doing it, letting go of a way you've been doing it, having a spiritual awakening, realizing something about it was not quite useful. Remember, we're going to that word. So now there's sort of an ability to shift in your perception about spirituality or about your purpose, your dharma, that enables you to either start a YouTube or a social media platform or a new tribe or your team. You discover you were just talking team, which is kind of interesting. Let me get to Scorpio here. So basically, it's dreams and desires, right? It is going to release false friendships, attachments to false, but also an illusion of what's your tribe is, who they are, your perception about who your tribe is shifts very much so. It's and anything you have to work hard for that isn't really taking you anywhere, or shall we say you don't see a future with these people. They're not like-minded. So it's really a shift to more like-minded people. You find a group of people that are more like you're minded. You maybe come into collaboratives with other people. You maybe joint share social media platforms. You become more connected to other social media platforms. Spiritual community. You find your spiritual community. And what else? The soul tribe. It's your soul tribe that's shaping your destiny and really uplifts your spirit. So it's the right, it's people that inspire you. And then also you become more inspired. You get clarity about how you want to inspire through social media or through your tribe or through collaborative projects with peers. It's very much about pulling people together. It could be that you start like you become more of a public personality. You could suddenly become seen more if you've been working at that for a while. And then the blessing, I mean, that's a wish come true. You make a perception shift on how you're trying to control your public image and your public media and your whole thing, and you have a spiritual shift where you suddenly see how to be of more service, of more practical use, and to release a sort of controlling perfectionism. It could even just be, I'm using you as an example, that you become a little more of an eccentric wild person out there, you dance and do other things.
I don't know if
Some
people want to watch
sort
me
of
dance though, but maybe.
some, yeah, a more creative expression of the self. But something more authentic happens with the Scorpio where they are not held back in a concern of public opinion. They release, they surrender. It's all about surrender. Let me get to my notes again. Let me jump around. I got like 5 different windows open. Where is that? Where'd it go? Where did my notes go? I scooched them around. Oh, okay, well, I guess I lost it. I'll pop it back up. So basically, Scorpio are going through, so they're ruled by Mars, and Mars is in Cancer, so there's probably going to be an emotional release here of the 11th house. It could be that you redo your whole social media, you end it completely and you totally redo it. That's a kind of an eclipse 11th house. You
Mm,
suddenly think, I'm going to do this different, but basically you have some sort of clarity of how to be in public and of service, and to release energy wasted in ways that are not going forward for you, that are not productive, that are not useful. So it's basically a breakthrough in how you've been doing something of service to the community, that now you have clarity about how it can actually be of service, and how actually, I mean, of more service or more practical service, where you actually gain material wealth and financial up. So it's basically a spiritual evolution here. You become more spiritually and surrendered, and so you really have more of a clarity that you're here to uplift, because the 11th house is definitely, it's the energy of Uranus, which is about raising vibrations. So it's almost as though the Scorpio that are working in these fields discover the way to raise vibrations and to bring people together and to be of service in that sort of tribal way to the tribe.
okay.
Which,
Okay. Just look at this. Look at this
oh
flower.
my God.
If this
That's
doesn't scream
crazy.
11th house, I don't know what does. It's like, look at all these people, like people in the petals of these flowers, just and the
Yes.
gathering together. So this is wild buckwheat. It's a very electrical kind of a flower. And
Did I not say wild? I mean, you kind of
yeah,
dancing.
yeah, like,
Great.
yeah,
Go ahead.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. You did. So this, the other thing about this is it allows Scorpios to create something that is on a social channel, social media, but in a way that's efficient and practical, not one that's depleting, one
Yes.
that they feel like it takes so much effort to do. This is something that's actionable, sustainable. The other part is this amplifies their ability to bring something into social awareness, i.e. social media. And I feel like I literally just did that, sharing that product that I discovered at this event, and how that you bring that to social awareness. It's here on YouTube, being able to share these different products, these different experiences in a way that's unique. That's me. And part of that is, for the past 2 years or so, I've tried some different modalities, and I have asked the practitioners if I could record the sessions. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I've amassed a few videos. And then I like to kind of create smaller, shorter ones, but to show people all of these different healing practices that are available to us that we may not even know about. Very natural healing. It's not drug related. It's like this new technology that's here to support our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual being. So this to me, I'm excited about this. If you can't tell.
It's crazy.
It also obliterates inner and outer obstacles. So I've noticed within myself, some things I'm very aware of in the outer world that hold me back. And then there are things in my inner world that some I'm aware of, some I'm not, but I'm like, it's like this brick wall that's in front of me that I could scale over or could go around, but I'm just like, no, I'm going to stay here. It's safe behind this wall. So that may show up for Scorpios too, like not be so in hiding like we can be able to get out there a little bit more. And it doesn't have to be in some grand way. It could be, more on for me, I feel like it's a grander way. It's a bigger way. But for other Scorpios, it might be something a little more subtle. It might be just like, sharing something that you discovered or that you find interesting on your social media, and some of your close girlfriends or guy friends see it and like, oh, that's really cool, and you're bringing it into the awareness. So it doesn't have to be some grand, overtly commercialized gesture necessarily. It could be something a little more heart-based and just sharing a part of yourself. But yeah, I mean, look at that.
That's pretty crazy, because you're talking about that thing with the neck,
Yeah.
and so this might be where you start shifting in your platform, where you start becoming like a journalist for the other modalities, because people don't know what I think that's so practical and useful.
Yes.
Definitely the right direction for you, for sure.
It feels very aligned. Okay.
When I do readings for people, I keep saying to them, okay, go explore all the modalities out there, because there's one for you that you're going to be good at.
Mm-hmm.
And finding modalities, people that I have worked with, when they find modalities, they suddenly make money at it, and they do very well. So finding a modality, and people want to know all the options for healing. People don't know them all. And so I think that's so helpful.
Really? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Sagittarius.
Thought of Sagittarius. Okay. So this is the 10th house. Wait, let me double check. Let me get to that thing. Let me double check. I don't want to make a mistake. Yeah, it's 10th house, right? 10th house. Oh, wow. Okay. So that's interesting. So Sagittarians are going to have a big shift in their careers. And they're going to go from, this is interesting, they're going to go from success is not status. Success is in service and aligning with your divine work. So that's the spiritual shift for Sagittarius. So they're no longer seeking, they're focused less of the status and more of the service, and aligning with what feels like their divine calling. And this is a potentially very strong eclipse for Sagittarius, where work comes in a very blessed way, because it's having a Uranian trine to this. So very good shift once they shift from, and I'm thinking of my sun, even though I'm Sagittarius sun, but I go more by my rising sign, but I will feel an impact from my career house. But I'm thinking of my sun, because a lot of he's shifting from trying to be being successful in the social media world, and you feel like, oh my, you have to be successful in the social media world, but shifting more to not being successful in the social media world to how do I be of practical service and use in the social media world? How do I work divine will through my work, as it were? The purpose of my incarnation. And so their careers will shift now because of that. Their career will shift, it will change size and shape to fit more of a service of usefulness that feels soul called, a dharma. And so this eclipse will push you more in your career, will tilt your career more towards the true service that you were here to do. And so it basically is a karma house too. So there is a karmic knot untangling in the career house. So which means which is it's such a shift in perception that that you almost maybe change your career, because the wake up to be of service, you then decide to, I can be of service this way. I know this is how I can be of service. And then you go for it, because everybody's been given an ability to be of service and serve and help and fix a problem here on this planet. So it's like the Sagittarius lock in on that, boom. And then, upgrade in their career, job promotion, more visibility, more status when you didn't mean to get the status, but there was a focus on the service, which brings that. So it's a big spiritual lesson, and insight to the soul mission and clarity, and a big question, because you may have to let something go, but letting that go puts you more in as we let something go, it enables us to go forward more into our incarnated purpose for what we were here for. And so this is really good for the career. Very good. These are beautiful shifts. They happen from the internal, but they create success from the universal sort of cosmic success, which then brings us material success. And it's seeking wisdom. It's a more wise approach to the career, which has more of a cosmic relevance, or you feel cosmically in alignment.
Righty. Well, we've got a flower that's speaking the same language. This is the Hong Kong orchid. And the Hong Kong orchid allows you to be the full expression of who you are. As you're the full expression of who you are, that propels you forward. You're lining up with how you're expressing that gift in the world, because you have a better sense of who you are and what you're here to do.
Yeah.
It's acceptance, full acceptance of self, full expression of self, being at ease with the deepest essence of who you are, accessing that information, being able to then share that in the world. And it dissolves holding back any parts of yourself, and not accepting parts of yourself as well. So to me, this flower really is a harbinger of what's to come when you are in true alignment with your inner world, that can be expressed then in your outer world, and how you express yourself with that 10th house placement. So
if there's a question, it's basically the motive to do good. Because if this whole eclipse is about that, the more we each individually reach to do good, literally the better the world becomes. Like, bam. Everybody,
that.
yeah, everybody steps in, and that's what the Virgo is to do good, to fix, to make it better, to heal, to, improve things.
Make the world better.
Yeah, we only ever do that when it's Virgo season. I'm just kidding, but it is the energy of this eclipse. So I love it. I'm actually really happy about this eclipse. Okay, so now we're going to go to Capricorn.
Yes.
So this is interesting. I kind of like this eclipse for Capricorn, because Capricorns, my ex-husband was Capricorn, and he was never had a problem with me being into spirituality and all this. He was fine with it, but he didn't want to know anything because he was afraid. He said, I just don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Like, that was his attitude. Because I don't want to know about the disasters that are impending in my life. I already know they're crashing down. Like I already, that was his. But now he calls me. He goes, "What's in the star? What's going on in my stars? Like what's going on?"
Oh,
And I'm like, "Whoa!" So that's the kind of eclipse for Capricorn.
interesting.
Mind,
Yeah.
boom,
Uh-huh.
open up.
Oh, I'm excited about that for my Capricorn.
Yes, me too. That's good for you, big time. So it's basically having a discovering the need for a guru, finding a guru, wanting spiritual awakening, wanting spiritual understanding, wanting to expand, letting go of perceived shut, like shutting the mind, like that controlling. I don't want to believe in this. I don't want to believe in it because then it. Somebody once said to me, I already got disappointed in Santa Claus. Don't, they tried to make me, they made me believe in Santa Claus. Like when you, if you, a lot of atheists were very upset when they discovered Santa Claus was not real, right? And they never want to believe in anything ever again. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like, don't fool me into believing in something great and then disappoint me. So it's like, so now they're like, okay, this is transformation. When you want to meet a guru, you start to learn. This is like me. I learned astrology in these kind of ninth house. Pisces is my ninth house. But so for Capricorn, it's like the flip of that. It's like waking up to realizing that the biggest problem in their life has been a lack of understanding spirituality or the cosmic flow or the order of the universe, and that they're controlling because Capricorn are so controlling. They love to have their hand on the reality field and manipulate it because they're good at it. They're hard workers. They can really sculpt their reality, but then they can't make it exactly what they want, and it sometimes fails. And then they wake up to seeing, okay, well, if I work with the higher realm, if I work with the unseen forces, wow, I can make that reality the one. I can bring a reality down and then shape it. And so it's like there's a spiritual awakening or an awakening to the deeper level of life, an area of life where there's power, where I didn't discover power. Like there's another whole sort of layer. Basically, it's true knowledge liberates the soul. Seek wisdom beyond the material world. That's Capricorn. And all around letting go of Capricorns are getting there, but this is a go with the flow. Open up your perceptions, explore, wander, travel, seek higher dimensions, seek understanding, find out what's real, what's true. Is it real? Is it true? Um, and explore the depth of it's almost like finding out about the cosmic, about a whole nother world, it's like discovering a country. But they feel this sort of call for their dharmic, because that's a dharma house, the ninth house. So they let go of a perception, which then enables them to step forward into their calling, their purpose, and serve humanity. To serve, there's a spiritual calling to it fulfills, because being of service is actually one of the most fulfilling things. When you find a way to be of service, it is the most fulfilling experience in life. It really is. And so it's like almost waking up to spirituality and seeing how to be of service that way, and how it feels. It's more exciting. It's more adventurous. When you see the world as only a material realm, it's just boring. It's kind of depressing. But then when you wake up to there being other powers, magical powers and forces and cosmic order, you're like, wow, what is all that? That's like an excitement. So there's like, and then that is a lucky house, that ninth house. So then we get some sort of really a blessed trip comes in. You go on a trip, travel, an opportunity opens up, some sort of good luck opens up, because when you let go of these energies, you're raising your vibrations, you become more buoyant in eclipses, then you allow some sort of more blessed, higher vibrational in faith thing come in, reality or opportunity. That's because you're resonating a more in faith energy. Jupiter only manifests through the energy of faith. So you have to believe in something. You believe in it, then it can happen. So suddenly the Capricorn's starting to believe in a vision, in a dream. And that's not just hard knocks, work hard. So it's spiritual transformation, no doubt about it, for Capricorn.
Wow. All right. Well, we have the pink
Oh,
primrose for
that
Capricorn.
that looks like that, huh?
It really does. It's like this soft expansion in a way. Like spreading what is the word I'm looking for? Like um spreading their wings in a way. Not having to be so like hard duh, duh, crunch.
Ascension, ascending.
Yeah, could be that too. It's this connection to the big vision of what's possible and what can carry them into the future.
Mm,
Easeful ideas that come in, and then knowing the action to take to follow up with that. It's creative. There's a thinking outside the box. So we've got this energy of expanding ideas and recognizing there's so much more wisdom out there and so much more
mm,
knowledge to be shared, and accessing that. And then through this process of learning and growing and expanding, you've got this opportunity for the rapid growth, for the rapid expansion of whatever that is, their focus is for their lives, for their work, for who they are. And it doesn't have to be so challenging as far as all the things. I feel like Capricorns feel like there's so many steps they have to take. There's like so many things that they have to do in order to achieve success, or in order to be wherever it is that they want to be, from a financial perspective, from a success perspective.
yeah.
And this is like, let go of some of that and just allow those opportunities to come to you. Allow the wisdom to
Mhm.
come to you as well. And then you'll see a whole new path that maybe wasn't there before, that doesn't
Yeah.
require 20 steps, maybe requires two.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's it. Pink primrose for Capricorn.
That's a spiritual awakening right there. And then purple, it's Pisces.
Yeah, that's true. That does. When you said that, I felt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a breakthrough and into because purple is Jupiter, it's Pisces, it's your Dharma, it's stepping into your Dharma, breaking out of the ego.
Mm.
Our
All righty, Aquarius.
Aquarius. There we go. Okay, so this is happening in your eighth house. So this is going to be a little more challenging because the eighth house is the one I've got going on Scorpio. I think it's fear, right? Not Scorpio, Taurus. I can't remember who it was, but anyway, Leo maybe. So we're looking at fear here. We're transforming a fear. We're literally transforming a major fear of security and controlling. Because if you have Virgo over that eighth house, you're going to have money control, fear of loss, because the eighth house is sudden loss, but also sudden gains. And so there's going to be a deep soul transformation, which could happen through fear experience, because this is being squared by Uranus. So some sort of loss could happen, but anything that goes away in this eclipse is to let go, let it be gone, and then open up energetically. So whatever goes was a fear-based attachment, which was blocking your abundance. Because a lot of times when you lose something on these kind of energies, the reason you're losing it is because you're too controlling and too tight. So the universe has to shake it out of your hands so it can create a flow in your life, so you're not in that rigid attached energy. And then the money can start to flow in. So we're going to start seeing money flowing in now because you've relaxed, you've released. Now, the other thing that this can be is this is a rebirth of mysticism, like hidden knowledge, becoming more interested in the occult, in the unseen, and tantra healing, mantras, deep soul healing, fear work. Some kind of a shock or upset pushes you to take spiritual practices better. Virgo is day-to-day practices that are better for us, right, in this eclipse. So you suddenly decide you need to do some more spiritual work and meditation and deep transformational kundalini awakening, deep stuff. And it's through destruction that comes rebirth. So embrace the unknown, for it holds the divine secrets. That's the theme of this. So the thing that's going to be important for Aquarius is to avoid the fear as much as possible, because this eclipse is body purifying and soul purifying. So the body is going to purify this tension and the stress by releasing and relaxing and healing, whatever healing modalities you can go through to help that. And then the soul starts to transform into a more mystical belief of the unseen forces, and to trust. It's weird when you have an eclipse, because I've followed my eclipses in the eighth house. You let go, you surrender, and you're like, okay, will I die? Do I die? and you sit there waiting to see if you're going to die or you starve to death, and you're like, no, I'm surviving. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Party. You're like, hey, I made it through. Oh, hey, there's a whole up boost of your energy. You're like, wow, the world really is on my side. And so with that energy shift, you then, if you do have a loss, just remember, whenever those losses happen, it opens you up for abundance to come flowing in, and it's usually way more than you lost, usually. It usually is. So hang in there through this one, Aquarius. You are going through a major transformation and a rebirth through something, maybe destruction, but it is for the rebuilding of a more soul and dharmic path.
Well, Aquarians have the nasturtium. And to me, this is like screaming this, like your personal power,
Yeah.
going into that sacral solar plexus sort of
Mhm.
region. The eighth house is connected to, your sensuality, your sexuality. So this feels very much aligned with that energy. It dissolves any pain or sorrow that might um be present, that's kind of keeping you in this place that you're in, that you're looking to break free from. It dissolves the need to seek attention. Um, this feels like seeking attention through complaining about your struggles, or wanting to rehash them all the time, or feeling like you need to share all of the stuff with everyone around you in order to feel connected, in order to feel empowered in some way. Or maybe from the disempowerment, that there's some sort of like weird like subtle mental thing that happens, where it's like when you share your disempowerment, it somehow makes you feel empowered, kind of going into that victim mindset mentality. This allows Aquarians to refine their being by spicing things up, by changing something that they're doing, by going kind of outside the box a little bit, and recognizing that with the more they are what is the word I'm looking for here? Hold on. The more they are connected to a place of joy and contentment, a place of peace, that will lead them to the right place at the right time, which allows for the opportunities that will create a potential windfall, eighth house, or create a dissolution of a debt of some kind. It feels like as they express themselves more authentically and they get out of some of the old habits and patterns that they've had, which is, again, that Virgo kind of day to day, it will open up some opportunities for them. So we have the nasturtium for Aquarius.
Yeah, that does kind of feel like a transformative card,
Mhm,
bursting out of
mhm.
the fear. And
Yeah,
that's great. I mean, it's awful to go through, but on the other side of it, it's very liberating, because that's a house of liberation.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Nice. Okay.
okay,
And
last but
rounding us out here with
Pisces.
Pisces.
So this is happening in their seventh house. So Pisces, and one thing that is a pattern with Virgo is the victim, because they tend to do a lot, help people out, and they don't feel appreciated, but really their motive is sometimes to control the situation. So Pisces are going to let go of trying to control and make a relationship happy and make it perfect and make the, whatever. But this is when you see whether the relation, because there's a shift inside the Pisces where they don't want to try to control the relationship. And if you're in the wrong relationship, it'll probably fall apart, because that was holding the relationship together. That which was holding the relationship together, which was tiring you, which was just a repeat problem, the relationship will end. But if it's so, basically what they're going through is, love is a mirror. When you heal yourself, you attract divine love. So the Pisces is healing the victim in them. They tend to get into victim relationships, and they blame they did everything right, and the person, of course, didn't appreciate it, and so they feel a victim, like they did everything right. But now when they let go of that dynamic, and they just sort of shift to service in the relationship, if you're in the right relationship, to working with your relationship, to being a collaborative, a better collaborative. And this can be in partnership, business partnership relationships too. It's not just marriage. Clients, it can be clients. So you're shifting from also you trying to be perfect for your clients or perfect for your relationship or controlling or all this. You've got all these perceptions. Pisces are one of the most perceptive filled signs. They've got a lot going on in their imaginative world, and they have these sort of perceptions that sometimes they can lock in on. So you've got some sort of perception of your dynamic in the relationship that you're letting go of, which allows the relationship to flow better, and that you don't have to do stuff. You don't have to be picky or critical or all this kind of stuff. You can just let the relationship be, accept it. I think you mentioned acceptance. Accept it, face it. If you're in the right relationship, accept the flaws. And don't get preoccupied. Don't think about it all the time. It's like, let the relationship just be. And you know what? We were talking about love earlier and how Shakespeare says, we were just talking about this, is that Shakespeare says, in Midsummer's Night Dream, that you don't choose who you fall in love with. You can fall in love with a donkey, and there's nothing you can do about it. What happened when you got hit by Cupid's arrow. So it's like, if you're in the right relationship, Pisces, stop trying to shape the person or shape the relationship or shape it some way. It's like, nope, it's what you got. You got a donkey. Or it's like,
We're not literally meaning that, just so everyone knows.
I don't mean that in a negative way, but if you perceive imperfections in your spouse, or they're perceiving imperfections in you, it's time to just accept that and focus on the spiritual connection, the soul connection, the part that's feeling and emotional, and you become more romantically, you go through a pink bubble phase on this eclipse. Or you end this relationship because it isn't your true divine spiritual mate, and you're healing the controlling codependent issues in you that are wanting to hold on and control your situation so you have a mate. So this is a time of letting go, and so relationships take on a higher, more spiritual purpose. So if you're in the right relationship, you go into co-collaborative on a dharmic path, on your soul mission. And it is for soul, it is to attract soul connections and heal past relationship wounds. And also your relationship is going to mirror something in you. You might suddenly look at your spouse and see yourself different, because you start to see that you're mirroring, you're causing a neurotic dynamic in your relationship, which you then see, and then you can now surrender to it and take it into a more flow and you find peace with their imperfections. You find peace in your relationship because you've let go of some sort of neurotic preoccupation about something.
Okay. Well,
isn't it? Yeah.
So much to that. Like, that last little bit you were sharing, like, really, it was like things were firing here. So, let me come back to the flower.
Yeah.
All right. We have the white water lily for Pisces. Okay. So with this, you were talking about this throughout, about perceptions, especially within relationships. So the white water lily, let me get back to my notes here. It gives Pisces, they're already very sensitive already. So we have that. So they can be maybe sometimes overly sensitive to some of these relationship dynamics, whether it's intimate or personal or professional, taking things personally. But it allows them to be sensitive to the needs of others, have some compassion, line up with synchronicities in a different way. So it's like sometimes the sensitivity is like maybe like your partner says something to you and it kind of hurts your feelings, but you're not really aware of the place which those words came from. Like really not being able to kind of see the other person's point of view in a way. Your perception is more skewed towards your own pain, towards your own areas of sensitivity. This is giving you an opportunity to also feel more connected, to yourself, the cosmos, the world around you, and maybe your business partner, your intimate partner. It gives you the ability to see things more clearly, have a fresh perspective, to be able to see things in a way that are extraordinary versus ordinary. We have that the Pisces, the sun in Pisces, your Pisces rising, you know, especially, how can you shine a light and be able to see things in a brighter light versus kind of this like, oh, life is hard and it's so tough and oh my gosh, it's like this just reminds you, oh, hang on, sorry. I'm trying to just
You know Pisces.
yes, I'm familiar with this. But here's the thing, it's like even, you know, with Pisces, it's not all the time. You know, it's like
Yeah.
when life is working and things are opening up for them, I feel like they tend to be more like this, like brighter, and there's all this possibility and potential. But a couple of setbacks or something is said that's taken personally, it can really derail them and their perception of the world, which then they're in this kind of like gray clouded vision, which is they're going to create more of that if they're going to continue to stay in that space. So it's
Yep.
kind of this like balancing act of being sensitive to your needs, being sensitive to someone else's needs, honoring the relationship, honoring that process of learning from each other, and then creating and crafting a solid foundation, a dynamic of, you know, that day-to-day connection, and, you know, just dreaming big, you know, that same energy of Pisces in general, just like dream big.
Mhm.
Have, like you were talking about earlier, Madelaine, that vision. Go for that vision. Keep that vision in front of you. And try your best not to get caught up in old stories and the woe is me and the doom and gloom, because it's not necessarily the truth of what's happening, what's available to you.
Yeah. Well, that 2007, the same eclipse, I'm Pisces moon. I got divorced. It's a divorce card. If you're,
Uh-huh.
you get set free, you're setting free from an entanglement that was just karmically based, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, divorce or and soul contract. So now the Pisces step into soul contracted connections, relationships.
Right.
Would I would predict for you to be now joining in soul contract with your mate.
Yeah. Well, and what that,
Well,
you know, for anyone who's not sure what that means, it's like, you know, we have mission, we have our own personal mission, then we have missions. It's at least in my belief system, we have missions
mhm.
with other people.
Yeah,
And
if
and
yeah,
when
relationships that don't have a mission together don't really hold.
yeah, and or
Especially.
maybe, you know, you're learning within the relationship for a time, and then then you're done. Depends
Mhm.
on the type of that dynamic in that relationship. But, you know, even with mine, it's like, yes, I feel like we've been on that path of mission, but it does feel like there's a shift that's taking place for both of us in such a profound way. And then how do we merge those shifts together to create a more you know, intimate connection, which
Mhm.
thusly leads to sharing more, doing more out in the world, and like really fully stepping into our mission, to our soul contracted agreements. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah, this would be
That's
interesting.
my Vedic teacher basically says that like if you're in a relationship and you have a child, that's like holds really like my marriage with my ex-husband, we did well when we had a child together, but that was our thing together. And we did well when we had housework together because we collaborated well. But then when there wasn't anything, the relationship sort of disintegrated, as it were. But like when the relationships were really supposed to be in relationships for a joint purpose.
Mm. That's different.
Yep. And
Yeah.
so if it can just if you don't have a joint purpose, all that energy can just kind of go in at each other.
Ooh, that's an interesting distinction.
Yeah.
I
And
feel like somebody out there needed to hear that.
oh, okay, good.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Very interesting distinction. Okay. Yeah.
So it's important.
So I guess, you know, final words to wrap up this really
Yeah.
profound period of time, and this was a long one. I mean, there was a lot
Yeah.
to say. Is, you know, it's that balance between the practical Virgo and the dreamy Pisces, it's the imagination, and then the practical action. And we've
Yeah.
got the Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde energy, which is really it's really encouraging us to reevaluate some aspects of our life related to what we value, and how we communicate, how we think, what we think, and then also with Mars and Cancer, even though there's a nice aspect to the moon, there's I don't know, the Mars energy isn't quite as impactful, like, and powerful in terms of its energy because of its placement in Cancer, which I feel like is okay. You know, that's really not a bad thing for this. This feels like one that may be challenging for the mutables signs, but it's also one, I think, for everyone that we're in need of a little gentleness, even though this period of time is not really gentle. It's a little challenging. Do you have any final thoughts you want to say about it, Madelaine?
I just, the same message, go with the flow, let anything go that isn't supposed to be in your life right now, but allow the flow from within, the transformation that's happening within, let it guide you because it's right. If you have an intuitive, you're going to get a vision or an intuitive clarity, and it's safe to do it. Like follow that flow, follow that surrender. Once you surrender, you're in the river. It's like let go, flow. Let that inner energy connected to the flow, if that makes sense,
Yeah,
guide you.
yeah,
It won't guide you wrong. It
right. It may feel like it. It may feel like it isn't taking you in a place or a direction that you would like to go, but just trust that it is. And
Yeah,
sometimes we don't see it when we're in it. It's looking back. You know, you're on the shore and you're looking back and you're like, wow, I went through that. That crazy raging river carried me here, but I'm here and wow, I'm really empowered. I'm really proud of myself. I love
yeah,
myself even more for being able to go through that and stand here on the shoreline and look out.
right.
So
Yeah. It's like embrace the unknown as there is in there is the divine, or in that is the divine secrets. So
say
it's
it one
like,
more time. Say
so
it.
in embrace the unknown, for there, in there is the divine secret.
Mm. So
So in the
basically,
unknown, you will find divine secret, you will find cosmic wisdom, God's secrets.
mm, yeah.
So that's the journey here, from leaving the material and experiencing more the ethereal, and learning more wisdom rather than our perceptions, seeking a wisdom rather than our rigid perceptions.
Hmm.
Us out of that paradigm into a new paradigm, because we have to, because we're about to enter a new, totally new era.
Yeah, I feel it, girl. I feel it. Um, Hello to Barb. I just looked over there. Barb was
Hey,
here. I don't know if she's still with us, but I hope that the Aquarius
yeah,
um, forecast resonated with you. And she's an Aquarius rising. We thank everyone who came and joined us live or watching the replay. Please like, subscribe, comment. We love to hear how things are shaken up for you. Madelaine's and my information is below if anyone is interested in booking time with us. I didn't do the gene key this particular moon cycle because there was so much going on astrologically. I did not want to bombard people with more information. However, I might record a separate video for those who are want to geek out on the gene keys thing and are interested in that. So maybe I'll do that sometime this week. Maybe not. Don't hold me to it. We'll have to see how my week goes. But yeah, so thanks for being here, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Sorry, we're like mixing things around a little bit, but I completely spaced on this one. Madelaine was like, "Hey, what are
surprising.
you doing?" So we're gonna set it up for the next time. We'll share it on social. And again, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple weeks with
Namaste.
the next eclipse cycle. Okay, bye
Bye.
everybody.